We know what it's called?
Is it
St. Thomas?
Is it St. Thomas or St. Croix?
One of them. I just call it. Is the Caribbean accurate? Okay, I'm such an idiot when it comes. I'm really good at only like two things in life. My wife would confirm that. Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on Real Talk with Keith Smith. It's a pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille Network on a program, Real Talk, that has had 8 years of history. Good God, 8 years. How long was Friends on air? Was it 8 years? Was it that long? Judah, can you figure that out? Real Talk has had 8 years of run on the I Love CVille Network. Our star, Keith Smith, is celebrating his 40th wedding anniversary. Hat tip to Keith and Yonna. 40 years of not only being married, but working together as well. That is just absolutely amazing. Friends had 10 years. Thank you very much, Judah. So we're knocking on the door of Joey, Ross, Monica, Rachel, and Phoebe in the gang. I can't believe I got that right. That's sad. A lot we're going to cover on the program today. Keith and Yonna in the Caribbean, celebrating their 40th anniversary, although watching the show now. Our panel is Pros, Scott Morris, Tovah Payne, and Woody Fincham. Scott and Tovah, Envoy, loan officers, badasses. Woody Fincham, Jedi badass, appraiser. Fincham and Associates, anything and everything is welcome on the program today. Studio camera, Judah Wickhauer is the Elmer's glue of the team. He gets us into victory lane by showing up consistently every day and just crushing it. I think showing up at any job is what, like 70%?
I mean,
showing up, being honest, communicating.
Are we talking private sector or public?
I mean, just, well, they're good. Well, touche there. Touche, well played. Judah, props to you. I think you guys are on the show right now. Should we go ladies first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ladies first. Second rodeo, Tovah Payne. Why don't we start with an introduction for the viewers and listeners of Tovah Payne to everybody that's watching?
Okay. Tovah Payne. I am a loan officer with Envoy Mortgage. I've been in the industry for almost 6 years.
Nice.
Now.
Wow.
It's been a wild ride. That's for sure. All things loans. I really enjoy being able to prove people wrong when it comes to loans. So if you have a difficult scenario, I'm really good at reading in between the lines and finding a way to get around things.
I also have to commend you for your social media game.
Oh,
I think what you're doing on social media is legit. As someone who's a content creator, I know creating content consistently is challenging, especially keeping it fresh. You do a great job of that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sincerely mean that. Scott Morris, my friend, the program is yours. It's good to see you.
I'm in a social media depression right now.
I'm not seeing as much content from you.
I know. I haven't been posting as frequently, and I realize that, and I'm going to get back on track.
Got to get them on more dancing
One of
videos.
the best types of content that I thought you were doing, sincerely mean this, was when you were just posting your iPhone up on the tripod in your truck or your car and just talking. I loved that.
Okay.
And it was not a ton of work because you were doing it while obviously staying within the white lines while driving, but but it was great. It was sincerely great. It was authentic.
I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that. Put it on the list. That and more TikTok dances. You know.
I did like y'all's TikTok dance. I saw that one. I didn't like a couple of comments in there that were throwing a little shade on Scott with his dance moves.
I know.
I was going to respond to those comments, and I was like, "Shut up! It's great what Scott was doing."
There's some of those are personal friends.
Okay, so that was tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
100%.
Got it.
Yes.
I didn't get that. I'm sorry.
Jason Beach, the mayor of Fluvanna County these days, is that's who that was coming from.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, Scott. So, how's business? Why don't we start? Everyone knows you, Scott. You've done a great job branding yourself. How's business?
Business is great. We've seen very little slowdown from the impact of what we've seen in this Iran situation. We're seeing a little kind of like annual, like we came through a big ebb, a little slowdown, and we're starting to see more energy and applications again. And like I've talked about it the last few weeks, like that the higher price points are where some of the hottest activity is, multiple offer situations, that sort of thing. And then we talked about just before the show that Lake Monticello, we're seeing kind of some mid-price stuff that's getting more days on market. And I think that has more to do with a greater amount of inventory than anything else. And buyers being more selective about what they're actually putting their money towards. There's been a greater sensitivity. I've got more buyers who have just said, no, I'm not gonna, that's not it, as opposed to, okay, I have to do this to make this work, just to get a house. So we're seeing more selective buyers and more cost-conscious buyers.
I like it. I'm totally seeing the same. Woody Fincham, also one of those guys that's done a phenomenal job of branding himself. Fincham and Associates, the best appraiser in Central Virginia, period, bar none, is Woody Fincham. I'm saying that. He's not going to say that. He's too humble, but it's facts on facts on facts. My friend, the market, what are you seeing at your desk?
The market's been doing well. I mean, it's not, it's normalizing back to what we had kind of to pre-COVID. The COVID steroids are gone. Everything that's going on in the Middle East right now definitely is putting the brakes on some stuff. But I mean, our market's very healthy, and we've still got some good stuff coming on the horizon. With the new jobs coming in, and those are all pretty high-paying jobs for the markets. We are starting to see some softening, I think, out in the bedroom community. If you're driving, 45 minutes to an hour to get to work, the cost of gas is just really putting a hamper on any discretionary money people have. But I mean, overall, the numbers are still looking good. I mean, we're seeing a lengthening of days on market a little bit, but I think that's got more to do with the fact that, like Scott was saying, I think buyers are being a little more selective, and I think it also helps for the sellers to stop. If they would stop thinking that we just have this double-digit increase every year, they need to pay a little bit more attention to what's going on in the market, I think. If you price it wrong, you're going to stay on the market for a while.
Viewers and listeners are already putting comments in the feed, which I will get to in a matter of moments. I'll highlight Vanessa Parkhill in Earlysville watching the program. A lot of folks at Stanley Martin watching the show. We appreciate them as a partner of the network. Don't wait for me to prompt you. 4 people at the barbershop, the coffee shop at the bar, talking about what we love to talk about. Tovah, anywhere you want to go, market conditions, interest rates, headwinds or tailwinds in this Central Virginia real estate market?
I mean, if you just want to look at gas prices, that's basically the U.S. 10-year right now. Like, I was driving the other day, and I noticed the uptick from, we were going down to high threes, and then we shot back up to $4 and something. If you're looking at the gas prices, they're almost exactly in line with what the U.S. 10-year is right now. And it's just...
Yeah, in the state of Virginia or Central Virginia right now, you're looking at a $4.35 per gallon, and you're looking at a 4.35 U.S. 10-year. And as gas prices fall, now that that's trading off of WTI and crude, 2 different models. But at the same time, how it's affecting prices here in Virginia. If you're a realtor and out there watching things, going, what's going on in the market? If you see gas prices go up 10 cents, the U.S. 10-year is probably going up, a basis point. So it's just something to keep an eye on, and it's what we've been seeing here for the last month or so. I think the bedroom community high gas price thing is just something that is, I think it's a talking point, not reality. I think there is more inventory. And I think that some sellers have unrealistic expectations. That's what's creating more days on market. It's not buyers who don't want to buy at the lake because it's much more affordable than where it is in other places. And as soon as this Iran thing comes to a close, the shipping goes back to normal, and oil falls below $70 a barrel, which I 100% believe is the reality in the third quarter of this year. This whole, it was too far to drive, it's too costly. It's just, I don't think it's in line with reality. I think it's an inventory and rate effectively that's making buyers just more selective. They're not thinking, I'm not going out there because it's costing me $4 a gallon. I don't think that's part of the narrative at all.
I'm curious if Fincham's thoughts on that. I'm knocking on wood on Q3, oil falling down and getting down to $2 a 2-handle with gas prices. Because it was $4.37 as I was driving in Bel Air Ivy. I'm knocking on wood for that.
It was $4.35 at Wawa on 5th Street when I drove by. I disagree a little bit with what you got there, Scott. I mean, what I'm hoping is not going to happen is that we do wait until third quarter for it to normalize back, because at that point, seasonality for the real estate market will be kicking in as well, because that's when it starts slowing down a little bit. So if it takes it that long, we may have a very underwhelming summer. Although our volume for lending work is up. I mean, but we're also seeing a lot of LGIs for the VA, which are foreclosures. We've done more in this last quarter than we've done in the last 4 years. So that's unfortunate. So that there are some folks out there struggling with making their mortgage payments. Like, what do you guys got for stats for that?
I don't see a lot of that. That's more on the servicer side. I have been keeping up. So we have, I think, nationally, FHA. So here's part of the reason that you're seeing that. It has more to do with an end of the Biden era rules that allowed people to stay in homes.
Sure,
that has come to a terminal about 60 days ago. So at the end of that 60 days, now so especially FHA, VA was part of it. You could go in and without real cause or explanation, get into a minor modification or a modification with your actual mortgage, which is taking the payments that you say that you couldn't make and put them at the back side of the mortgage. And you could do that unlimited times. Now you can do it once. So anybody who was able to do it once 60 days ago, and some of it was actual and some of it was fraud, and that has come to an end. So now you're seeing, we've seen a 30% increase nationally in the last 60 days in FHA foreclosures. And the majority of that is tied to the end of the modification rules, not so much that's the purpose. This should have happened 2 years ago, but it wasn't allowed to legally. People could continue to extend those modifications further and further, staying on bad paper, and now that's just not the case. So the uptick that we're seeing right now,
we're right next to the police station, if you can't already tell, viewers and listeners.
The uptick that we're seeing right now is just delayed activity that should have already transpired. So if nothing else, this is just this adds to hopefully an increase in affordability by putting more properties on the market in the next 3 to 6 months.
We do have, and this doesn't apply to the show, well, it may kind of apply to the show, but we do have some breaking news that literally hit minutes ago. The Virginia Supreme Court has now struck down the redistricting referendum, which was approved by voters in May. So redistricting, gerrymandering, tomato, however you want to see it, is not in play now, is no longer in play, according to the Virginia Supreme Court. That's breaking. We'll talk about that at 12:30. Tovah, jump in. Anything you want to cover here? I'm curious of your thoughts on outer counties, values, gas, softening, or unrealistic?
I think you have
Is it
all
both?
of those. You have all of those. You're
Okay.
dealing with people. You're dealing with a lot of people with unrealistic expectations sometimes. And it's a matter of how are we going to get people from point A to point B? A lot of this time, I'm talking to a lot of first-time home buyers who they could buy. But at the same time, they're like, but we don't want to because their parents are telling them this, or their friends are saying this, or they're getting this, or they're getting that. And so it's just like this information overload. I've been saying this for like 2 years. It's information overload, and they're just like, I'm not going to do anything unless some great deal pops up because they heard that a friend of a friend got this great deal, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now they're like, well, that should be how everything is.
My dad says interest rates will get below 3% again. I mean, how many times have you heard that? No
I mean, we've
comment
got
over
a
there?
new virus going on, so.
Yeah. I mean, don't listen to dad, folks, about the interest rates falling to below 3% again. Go ahead. I apologize for interrupting you.
But yeah, I think it's just a matter of getting people past this is what everyone is saying to, okay, but what works best for your scenario? That's sellers and buyers combined. And a lot of times it's trying to convince people that they're believing a lie over the truth, and then just constantly like, okay, well, this is what your scenario is. Let's talk about what this would look like if you did decide to move forward. And a lot of times they're like, oh, that actually makes me feel more comfortable. And it's breaking it down piece by piece to saying to them, like, this is what this actually looks like for them to say, okay, this makes more sense actually in the long run.
So is that the same dad that shows up at the home inspection and starts, finding all the things wrong with the house?
Yes.
100%. We've all got one of those, I think, or at least some of us do. Scott Morris, war in Iran, don't talk politics, not that kind of show. I think we all want it to be done. At least I certainly do.
And if you want to make Keith sweat while he's not here, go ahead and start talking politics.
He's watching. I have so much respect for him. And rates and interest rates and where we're going. I also kind of agree with Woody here that I think it's going to be, I'm choosing my words carefully, I don't think slow, but a calm summer. I think there's just so much uncertainty now with rates, with the war, with gas, that, as Tovah said, there's information overload, and that I think some of the marketplace, some of these potential buyers are just not stopping, but just slowing and pumping the brakes. That's kind of what I'm feeling.
I can't say that I've seen that.
Okay.
In multiple states and areas, I see people executing real estate transactions because of what they've got going on in their life. And some of them are doing it because now feels more opportunistic than it has in the past, because we're starting to see
Some leverage?
A flattening in values. And
Okay.
not so much a softening, but and that's not even it, given the neighborhood, the property, you can get multiple offers that are creating a lot of activity in certain areas, and higher price points are where you're seeing more of that, which goes back to this K-shaped economy that I've talked about in the last couple shows. So you're seeing more people on the higher end that are just they're not as affected by gas prices.
Stocks and equities, if you're heavy on stocks and equities, you're crushing it right now.
Is UVA not going to do the data science center because we're bombing Iran?
100%, they're doing it.
Absolutely not.
Yep.
So all of that's continuing to happen. This area is, we're in a place where we're going to continue to see a lot of activity. You have had posted a great weekend. One of the things we talked about is this, the luxury apartments that are going in for university students. And I agree, that is not going to decrease, that's not going to put more inventory out there for
Price stability.
or for affordability.
Yeah, right.
That's not solving that problem.
Yeah.
But to that point, that Iran oil prices are not affecting things on the higher scale. They are affecting people more dramatically at households who are earning $120,000 or less per year. They are more affected by these costs, but they themselves, if you're one of the FHA borrowers who I talked about earlier, where there's a 30% increase in foreclosures, or one of the VA buyers that Woody mentioned that he's doing these appraisals for, and you have all of this accidental equity, you purchased a home, you've missed payments, but you're still going to be able to get out of the home and possibly walk away with some money, that in of itself is going to allow them more opportunity than gas prices or not. I know that this is not a great situation, and I'm not talking about people who are in a great financial, they're not going to be able to buy right away, but at the same time, it could be much worse.
Yeah, 100%. Could be 100%. Joanna Vaughn is watching the program. She's studying for the real estate exam right now. Good luck with that. Vanessa Parkhill's got a comment which we're going to get to here. Tovah, jump in anywhere you want to go on what we're talking about, and then I'll get to some of the comments from the viewers and listeners here.
I mean, again, to Scott's point, I think you're still seeing softening depending on the situation. Everything is with a grain of salt. So yes, the higher price range may not be as affected, but really, I mean, when are they really as affected as, let's say, the middle or lower class? People who are just getting into this, even second-time home buyers. I mean, they're still having to weigh, like, okay, either we're going to give this up or we're going to give this up to make this happen. And they're still, like, it's a long debate process. I mean, even as me, for myself, like, in thinking about buying real estate. I mean, I bought a house last year, and it was still like a very difficult decision. It was like, well, I know I could afford this, but if X, Y, and Z happens, then that would make me uncomfortable. And it had to be me making the decision as to, okay, does this make sense long-term for me? If so, then yes. And if this happens, then I'm going to just have to figure it out. And that's where people are right now, is they're either, we're not going to do this because we don't want to figure this out, or we're not comfortable trying to figure it out, or it's, we're not comfortable doing this, but we know that we're going to figure it out and we're going to make this move. So again, I mean, it just depends on, is also like the softening is going to depend on the area. Like, I mean, again, it's the prices range so much between Charlottesville, Culpeper, Warrenton, Fredericksburg. It just depends on where you are, what your job is, your family size, so many different factors into that.
Discipline and risk appetite.
Yeah.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Get Woody Fincham in the mix here. Anywhere you want to go? Maybe the car report that you took a look
I was
at?
actually reviewing some stats here from it. The market's definitely not declining. We're not going into any type of crash or anything like that. We've got 3.5 months of inventory right now. Our sold to ask ratios are at 99.8%, which is healthy. Pending sales are up double digits, which is always a good, what's coming down the pipeline kind of deal. But there's no major negative getting ready to happen in the market as far as I can tell. And let's face it, if we're going to be in a real estate market anywhere, where Central Virginia is the one to be in.
100%.
People want to be here. People are still coming here. And I think we're still going to see healthy competition. I just think people are taking their time and being a little more selective in what they do.
I saw in that car Q1 report, and I'll highlight Supervisor Mike Pruitt of Albemarle County watching the program, Brent Lillard, the CEO of GovSmart, watching the program. We got a lot of agents watching the program right now. The car report, and you touched on this initially, the million plus transactions are carrying this market. The million plus in Albemarle County in particular is really driving the market. Any thoughts, perspective on that? As Scott highlighted, in this K-shaped bifurcated economy, the million plus buyer is way more bulletproofed or insulated versus 437 gas.
Oh, for sure.
Because if you're heavily invested in any kind of stock and equity portfolio, you're probably, your net worth is at an all-time high.
You're talking about a niche of consumers that let their money work for them.
Right.
And those people are usually going to be more insulated in this environment than anybody else. But you're right. The luxury real estate market is still pumping along. There's no slowing down for that. And there's so many cash buyers still in the market. It's crazy.
What is luxury now, Tovah Payne? What price point?
That depends.
How about go ahead. Albemarle County, Central Virginia, Scott, up your alley as well. Is the
1.5.
I was going to say, and even some of the 1.5s need some work.
Sure. But I think that's, if we want to call it, I think that's the number.
That's the starting point.
But
Yes.
if you get into the suburbs of Northern Virginia, we're talking 3.3 and 4.3, 2,700 to 3,500 square foot homes. That's $800,000 to $900,000, and those teams that are working these as open houses for leads are finding that it's more difficult to get through the open house phase because they're getting multiple offers on these homes. And I just, to me, that I don't see this softening.
Well, you're an indicator, man. You're the first indicator.
It's just, there's a lot of activity right now.
It could be also that you're just really good at getting your brand out there, and that's why it could be that, Scott.
It could be, but I think this is more indicative of there's just, knock on wood, rates seem to be
Stabilized?
steady.
Okay, where are we at now?
Let's call it
6.5
and below.
Okay.
And as long as we don't exceed that, I think that people, given the last 2 years, feel that we are in a more comfortable place. I do think that things become even more active. We get sub 6. But with that said, I think people have a good grip on where things are. I think that buyers at, let's call it from $300,000 to $700,000 have become just more specific in what is going to fit their needs and what they're willing to pay for. And that is really what we're seeing.
You want to touch on that? Anyone?
I'd probably change that 3 to 7 to 450 to 7.
Okay, because you're saying good luck finding a $300,000 house.
Well,
is what you're saying.
I think those people, the people who are shopping at a 300,000, between 300,000 and 450, are one, they are going to be more likely to be pickier about what they're paying their money for because they don't have a lot of liquid cash typically because they are first-time home buyers. They don't have that house that they're selling and they're getting all that equity from to put down on this house. And then you also like finding something for that price point. And then also if you, like I said before, like if you have to put a bunch of work into that, they're not like, they don't have that liquid cash usually to just be like, okay, we're going to do this.
Which is a great time to start looking at a renovation loan.
It is a great
Yeah,
time
and
to start looking.
I have a feeling that you guys offer renovation loans.
We do.
Is that something that you guys
Yeah,
do?
we love renovation loans.
Tell us about the renovation loans, Tovah and Scott.
Do you want to?
Sure. So actually, the house that I bought was a very interesting duplex that needed a lot of love. So I did do a 203K loan and ended up renovating top and bottom. And it was like super, like, I mean, it was just as simple as finding a contractor, getting him to write me up a bid, sending it to the appraiser appraised it as, okay, after all of these adjustments are done to the house, this is what the value is going to be. And that was basically like how I got the value for the loan. And I just bought the house, factored the renovation costs into the loan, and that was my mortgage payment. And then the work was done, and then I was happy.
Are you renting one side out?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
House hack. And then living on the other side, renting one side. I love it.
That
Love
used to
stuff
be
like
the
that.
traditional way that the VA would work with multis. I mean, I'm from Norfolk, Virginia originally, largest Navy base in the world. And when I started in the business, I was a HUD 203K consultant.
Oh, yeah.
And your brother, it still is.
Yeah, he still is. He's still going it.
Good memory.
I've still got mine. I still can do it, but I don't do it anymore. But it's a great program for folks out there. We saw them really strong when the market was at 8% or higher. I mean, because the only way to really get equity in a home when you got a market that high is to find something that needs a lot of work. And at that point, they were still doing the teacher next door and the officer next door program. I don't know if they still do those or not.
I don't think they do.
But they used to do special consideration because you could get police officers to move into certain communities that needed police officers there, and they would give them special rates. But it's a great program. VA has a rehab program too, but I hardly ever see anybody use it.
We have the opportunity to do that now.
Awesome.
But typically we've done more 203Ks and home styles than anything else.
Comments. Here's an interesting one from Jennifer, who's watching in Short Pump. For the she calls you loan brokers. I'm going to call you loan officers. Can you explain to us why the rates go up as the war goes longer?
So it doesn't have anything to do with the war going longer specifically as much as it does with oil not moving through the Strait of Hormuz. The longer that seems to be the problem, because currently we're not in a war. We're in a ceasefire. But every threat that the Strait is going to remain closed extends the fear inflation index on energy cost. And as soon as you see good news about the Strait opening, not so much the war ending, that then says, okay, well, we just got a great jobs report. We got a core inflation report that even with the beginning of these high energy costs stayed flat. So that means if we can get energy lower, we're likely to see continued lower inflation, and that opens up the Fed's ability to cut rates, which in turn forecasts a lower bond market yield and lower mortgage rates.
I mean, once again, you're dealing with people. You're having people bet on this is what this event is going to, or how this event is going to affect the market, and that is essentially
Are you
what
saying
makes
the
up.
bond market is just a prediction market? It's
What?
Come on now.
Comments, put them in the feed. We'll relay them live on air. For Woody, this is a good one. Is he seeing any specific counties in Central Virginia that are softer than others, and why?
Again, our data is showing us when we get out into the really far out bedroom markets, like when you get into southern Buckingham, the further you got to come, the more money you got to spend, and I think people are paying attention to it. We are seeing a lot of building activity in northern Buckingham right now. I've got several new construction projects we're working on there. There's been a lot of land to transfer the last couple of years out there. A lot of the logging companies, timber companies have liquidated a lot of their land because of the pine market falling apart. So, there's folks that have bought 100, 200 acre tracts, and they're putting a little tiny house right in the middle of it and living in the woods, for real in the woods. But yeah, I mean, some parts of Louisa, we're seeing a little bit of a drag down. But when you're in the main MSA, when you're in Green, Albemarle, it's all strong. I mean, we're not really seeing any softening there.
Do you think the Louisa issue is because of the, what is it that they're trying to put in? It's not the power lines.
It is the power.
Kind
line.
of, yes.
It's a big electrical
Yeah,
line right
yeah.
through Louisa.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything that directly affects anything that we've worked on, but that doesn't mean it's not causing
Yeah,
an
I
issue.
had somebody released from a contract because there was potential that it would be close to their house, and they were like, we don't want that.
Well, if you're anywhere in central Virginia, you're close to
Yeah.
major transmission lines, so.
Your fabulous wife is watching the program. 203K was one of the ways Woody Fincham got his start as an appraiser. Joanna Vaughn says, thank you kindly for the kind words. She is starting her real estate journey. William McChesney is watching the program, and comments are picking up over here. Here is an interesting one for the entire panel. Jerry highlights often AstraZeneca and biotechnology and the impact it's going to have on Greene, Northern Albemarle, and the counties north of Greene. Can the panel talk about this as someone that lives in Greene County and has been there for a second generation? Scott, you want to start on that? I think you're right there where you live.
That's your backyard.
Yeah.
So what's the question?
Basically, the impact of what's happening with biotechnology, development, growth, tied to AstraZeneca, what Stanley Martin is doing in Greene. 2,000 incremental units are coming to Greene County in the next 36 months.
Your taxes are going to go up. There you go. That's your storyline. Outside of that, it's you're going to have to probably cost of schools, all your, I don't know what more there is to that. I mean, as far as to the local market, how that's going to affect their resale, is there enough homes there to greatly impact that outside of the new construction? I don't know enough about what the month-to-month turnover is.
I think what's interesting here is there's 600 employees starting at AstraZeneca in the next 24 months at $125,000 starting salary. That's the starting salary for the 600. Some of them are going well into the seven figures as they build their global headquarters there. Not coincidentally, but strategically, Stanley Martin is leading a charge where 2,000 incremental units are being built in Greene to accommodate the demand. I think on any given day, how many homes are available for sale through CAR? Like 1,100, 1,200?
Sounds about
something
right.
like that. So if you have 600 people coming to the area from outside the area, and there's 1,200 total homes, we clearly are going to have an overwhelming demand issue.
A lot of competition.
A lot of
for sure.
competition company.
Greene's going to be the place to be because,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good location.
Let's go down that road.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Greene's been lucky with what they've had over the last several years and what they're rolling into now. I mean, just look at Northern Albemarle, North Point. I mean, that place is...
It's crushing it.
It's $1 million all day long now to get in there. So, I mean, it's... 10 years ago, I would have never thought that would be the case for, they're not track built by any means, but they're not custom either. So.
I was literally having this conversation with Jeff Gaffney, the CEO of Real Estate 3, earlier this week, that it's $1 million and change to get into North Point or new construction. And they're selling all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Yep.
So, Mike, outside of so they're putting 2,000. How many jobs is AstraZeneca bringing?
600. Now, there's also going to be the supply chain associated with AstraZeneca. These
The service industry that'll grow with it.
secondary businesses that are biotechnology. They expect the population locally to uptick 6,000 to 8,000 people.
I mean, again, outside of that, it's where I don't know enough about what else is going into Greene and where, like how that's going to affect Standardsville.
I think it's going to impact Culpeper big time. I think it's going to impact Madison big time. I think you guys are in the catbird seat that there's going to be a lot of valuation uptick.
Well, it would
those
impact
counties.
Madison if Madison wasn't so density adverse. They don't want construction.
So
They
and Culpeper
Existing.
is now
Sure.
basically a moratorium on any new projects. There's a lot of local political uproar.
Yeah, they got to take a breath. They're under a lot of stress.
There's been an enormous amount of growth, and you'll see some tax increase in Culpeper, who has, they're 63 cents per $100 there on their real estate tax. It's amazing. But that's got a run rate for the population growth that they've experienced. There's at least one new school that they're going to have to build. I imagine this much growth in green is going to create the same thing inside of the next 10 years. You're going to see there'll be tax costs. That's the main thing. That's the main takeaway. You'll see a continued increase in price, and it supports our Central Virginia narrative about what a great place to be owned as far as real estate values go. But over the next 10 years, I think you continue to see value and opportunity. I agree with Woody. Madison is going to continue to be tough, just in how they're not going to allow. They're not most likely are going to be adverse to adding new projects.
We just did a feasibility analysis up in around the town of Madison, and they want businesses. They don't want households. They just don't want the tax increase for it.
Comments continue to come in. Vaughn joined us as Buckingham County, its board voted no against that Valley Link electrical pipeline. This is an interesting one that I'd like to discuss. Why are Charlottesville City, and this is up Woody Fincham's alley, why in Charlottesville City are you seeing real estate values flat or in some cases dropping? And there's certainly a lot of price cuts happening in the city.
Again, pricing something the right way right out of the gate is the important thing. I think a lot of agents that we talk with, because we do a fair amount of pre-listing business where an agent will hire us to come in and help them price a property because of either the seller's being a little overzealous and hard-headed, or it's something that's just oddball. And there's a lot of oddball property around the city. And that's not a bad thing. I don't want it to sound like I'm being negative about it, but anything that's unusual, atypical, it's hard to price that stuff. And so we'll come in and help them with it. I'm not really seeing much of a flattening in the market. It's just more of I think the market's just normalizing. There's no doom and gloom about it whatsoever. We've got a very healthy market. It's just, I think our normal for so long was what was going on with the COVID market.
Yeah.
That steroid thing's gone, and thankfully it's gone, because it allows normal people to actually get into the competitive game of buying. But we're still seeing that with first-time home buyers. Between the short-term rental guys coming and buying, and they're buying up left and right everywhere they can. Our requests to do short-term rental appraisals have increased probably 200% over the last 2 years. It's crazy. But like Fannie and Freddie, none of them will let you consider any of the income from it. We have to do them all as long-term rentals.
So even the DSCR lenders have gotten
Debt service coverage ratio.
Yes, have gotten much.
These are no-income doc loans.
Kinda. It's all about the property. Still the individual's credit is going to be part of how they what they allow, and
the rent roll.
As far as you qualifying to support it, your income is not. But short-term rentals for someone who has not managed a short-term rental previously is a disqualifier typically, unless you've got a partner who's going to be a part of it who has. And I think a portion of that has to do with over the last few years since this first rolled out, is they've seen some people fail in that,
absolutely.
And now this is a preventer from doing it. So you can still go in and qualify off a traditional 12-month, and then if you're going to short-term rental it, that's your prerogative as far as purchasing it. But if you don't have previous investment history, you're going to be challenged in qualifying with the short-term rental up front.
And also, folks, the short-term rental business, the Airbnb business, is not rainbows and sunshine.
It is not.
That is an effing brutal business.
You're running a hotel is what you're doing.
If you've never done that before.
In order for us to appraise them, we have to do a net operating income procedure.
So it's
not the normal stuff.
So part of it is for some
You actually have one, right? Well, you have one. Is it still Outer Banks?
Yeah, but I
That's
have
different,
somebody else manage it.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
not
last thing I'm dealing with
Right.
is in June, phone calls from somebody going, "Where are the umbrellas?" It's like
We need more towels.
they're on the deck.
If you want to see a pissed off Scott Morris, those phone calls going to Scott's phone. Is that fair, Scott, to say?
That's a fair thing to say. So if you're a high W-2 earner, and you want to get into real estate, and you can, and you should do not talk to Scott Morris about this. Talk to your tax professional. You can get into the short-term rental real estate market, and you can use that home to offset some of your tax liability. There's a lot of great articles and things to be read about doing it. I won't go further than that, but it's 100% a tax advantage for high W-2 earners.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Comments continue to come in. A lot of people wanting us to talk about that Wall Street Journal Realtor.com report that had Charlottesville as the number 3 luxury market in the United States of America. Did you guys see that?
Did not.
Yeah, that came out midweek. Maybe you take the charge on this. I can set the stage here. If you wanted a quick Google to get a little background on that, Woody, it's Wall Street Journal, Realtor.com, Charlottesville, Virginia, the number 3 luxury housing market in the United States. People that are just reading headlines are like, hey, what the hell? How is this number 3 in luxury? The caveat is it's not price or inventory, it's quality of daily life.
We probably value more high-end real estate here than any other company in the Central Virginia market. That's kind of our bailiwick. I'm not surprised by this at all.
I also want to highlight that the Charlottesville moniker is slightly misleading. I think that luxury price point is probably Ivy and Keswick.
Keswick, definitely.
Ivy and Keswick. Garth Road, we're going to throw on there. But Scott, anywhere you want to go on this? Number 1 is Charlottesville, or number 3 is Charlottesville. Number 1 is Santa Fe. Number 2 is Pittsfield, Mass. Number 3 is Charlottesville. And 4 of the top 5 luxury metros have populations under 350,000, according to this Wall Street Journal report.
I mean, in regards to quality of life, I mean, I definitely agreed 5 years ago, but the traffic has just become unbearable.
Man hates traffic.
It really does.
Every day I hear about the traffic from Scott. Yeah.
And then the other day, last week, I popped in to a restaurant at Barracks Road for lunch at 11:40, and there was a 40-minute wait. Oof. And I was just like, you know what? This is too many people. Thank you. Enough is enough. And I can't believe I'm about to say that Charlottesville could need more restaurants, but maybe that's the solution. I don't know.
Wait till 6,000 to 8,000 additional people move here in the next 24 months.
It is. It's a great place to live. There's no question about it. That's what makes it such. We've got. You're a reasonable drive to the beach. We have Lake Anna, which is somehow a top vacation destination. I grew up people bass fishing there on Friday nights, and it was a power plant. I've got a different view. I've got a redneck perspective.
He's a local.
I've got a redneck perspective. Okay, that's all.
He's a redneck that is now very white collar.
For the show. And it's an amazing place to live. There's lots of hiking, there's skiing locally. There's so many advantages to being here that if you've got a property and an area that supports a luxury presence, the university being here, why would it not be? Why would it not be?
Well, look at the stats, too. The top 4 we have here, they're all small population centers for the most part.
350K or below.
I think it's saying that a lot of consumers with wealth want to live in a place that's not like a big city. And, just for what you're talking about, who wants to go wait an hour to go get a sandwich?
Comments, put them in the feed. This is what intrigued me about the ranking, is that we're seeing a lot of folks from big markets. A defining macro trend in 2026 is the migration from high-cost legacy markets into smaller markets. Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia are seeing a steady influx of buyers from Nova, DC, New York, and California. A buyer coming from San Jose, ranked number 5, or San Diego, where entry-level luxury starts at $3.5 million, finds entry-level luxury in Charlottesville and Albemarle at $1.5 million. as cheap?
Sure, but I also get physicians that are coming to work at UVA, and they go, I thought it would be less expensive. It's the first thing that they say.
Tovah, the business that you're doing or the business that you're seeing with out-of-market clients, can you put that in perspective at all for us?
I mean, I think like at least 50% of what we are doing right now is, or have done this year, is out of, like,
Damn.
at least even nurses moving from, let's say, Oregon or like
Canada.
West Coast Canada are coming to Charlottesville or Richmond. Charlottesville and Richmond are like the two biggest areas that we see out-of-state nurses or somebody in that general line of work coming in from.
Half the business from the Scott Morris team is coming in out of market?
I mean, this year, yeah.
Probably. That's an accurate statement.
That is bananas.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely bananas. And that's only going to uptick here. For the realtors watching the program, one of the things I like about Scott, he's very opinionated. One of my favorite things about Scott right there. For the realtors that are watching the program, if they're trying to corner the market or drive incremental business, advice Scott Morris has to offer.
I mean,
He's good at this one.
where does your lead gen start? Does it start at your sphere? Does it start with your social media marketing? Do you pay for leads? Do you cold call well? Like, what do you do well? Figure out that first, and then figure out ways to add on to the things that you already do well. Give yourself, build yourself a tree. Like, the one thing that you do well is where you drive the majority of your business, and then continue to grow branches from that. Every single day. Do one little thing to put a branch out there while you continue to focus on the trunk of your tree.
Woody Fincham, I want some thoughts on you. Then Tovah, the Book of Faces just told me it was your birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to Tovah Payne. Your thoughts, and newly married too.
Yeah, that's
the Book of Faces just told me that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, gosh, I feel like I should have started the show. Facebook, why didn't you tell me this? With congratulations for these
Thank you.
two. Fantastic couple right there. Woody Fincham, thoughts on where we're going, thoughts on summer? Similar question for you that we'll throw after Woody here. Where we're going to go, what summer's going to look like? Are we going to have a stall as we head into kind of the hotter months before school starts? Anywhere you want to go on?
I don't think we're going to see a stall. I think
Okay.
we're going to continue. The seasonality speaks for itself. If we go historically the way we've been going, we'll continue to have a decent amount of volume. I think it'll be a lower volume point than we had last year, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just the way the world works. People are going to continue to live their lives. They're going to continue to make decisions, get married, have grandchildren, children, or whatever. And they're still going to need to buy housing, and that's still going to continue to be a thing here. And now that I see this Wall Street Journal thing, one of the top 3 markets for luxury in the country, people just want to come here. I mean, that's just more proof that I think we're in a pretty good market, and thankfully we have the university here and some other major corporations here.
As a father and a husband with 2 children, and maybe as I'm approaching middle age, I'm like, please no more effing lists. I don't want to be on any more lists with the Charlottesville area, because that just went to everyone that we're number 3 luxury market in the country. I mean, remember when the initial list came out a while
Best
ago?
place to live?
Yeah, and what it did to this community? Pros and cons, right? I mean, obviously it had great exposure, but it also just opened up the Pandora's box of what we all knew and why we lived here. There was that time before that list was coming out where we could just walk downtown, we know everybody, have no problem finding a parking spot, do anything we wanted, basically, right? Good and bad.
The growth, yes. I mean, there's the Charlottesville that is now and the Charlottesville that I used to love.
Yeah.
They're 2 different things.
Right, you've been here your whole life.
Yeah.
I've been here 26 years. I don't even recognize it. I don't even recognize
I mean,
it.
the
Right?
15 years we've been here, it's changed
Yeah.
tremendously.
It's wild what's happening, and it's only going to change even more thanks to lists like this and what UVA is doing. But I mean, change is inevitable. Tovah Payne, you've made the program fantastic. Anywhere you want to go, market trends, summer, fall, anything you're seeing from your notebook that we haven't covered.
Really, I think the market trend is going to depend on people I think to Scott's point, you're still going to see a decent amount of business or a decent amount of people in the higher price points. But for the 300, 400, 500, 600, people who are still maybe, I feel like those people are more susceptible to changing jobs or debating on, okay, maybe this isn't my fit. As pickier as they are with homes, I feel like they're just as picky with jobs as well. So kids are out of school. This is a great time for me to figure out if we want to move so that we can get the kids in the district of the school that we want. So that's going to affect different markets, different ways. So I don't like to make any predictions. I think, like Woody said, we'll probably see it slow a little. I think also that we're seeing what we're considering months as normal, like these are busier months. I think that is also transitioning. I think is depending on how families operate, events, things like that. I think we are transitioning from, January used to be slow to now January is really like busy. And now, May used to be really busy and now maybe July, August, right before school starts is really busy. So I think also adjusting expectations there as to when people are listing, when people are buying.
Well said. Nicely done. Chloe.
Not to take the show off the rails at all, but Scott, you look a lot like Bryan Adams.
Huh?
The singer?
Yeah. I'm sitting here looking, I was going, the Summer 69 guy.
Everything I do it for you. Is that Bryan Adams? Is that who? Didn't he sing that song?
Did I just blow your cover?
Wasn't there? Is that who like?
I'm actually googling Bryan.
Is
Adams.
that who like ruined our lives with the? Was it? There was like a Robin Hood soundtrack at some point in the
Everything I
90s.
do for you.
Oh yeah.
Everything I do it for you. Yeah, that's great. Any chance you could sing that song on the show? No, okay. I thought I would try. Right. I will say the man's looking super fit.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you sing better than you dance, or you dance better than you sing? Because I've seen you dance. So.
The dancing's better.
Okay, gotcha.
I thought the dance was good. God, I want more of that from Scott. I like the authenticity. I like the behind the scenes of what it's like to be. I mean, you guys are crushing it. I like the behind the scenes of what like Scott Morse is doing. I thought it humanized you and localized you and personalized you. I sincerely mean that. And I can't wait to see the Scott in the car.
I'll get back to that.
Promise?
Yeah,
it was
100%,
really good. It was
100%.
honestly like I looked for it as someone who like you know more about this than I do. I looked for it as like education.
Okay.
Like you were consistently doing that.
All right. That is something I can get back to.
It
was good. I enjoyed watching.
Like I said, I'm in my social media depression right now. We're going to get back to it.
Okay. How about we close on this? How we close every show. How can folks find you, contact you, do business with you? Ladies first on this one. How can?
Facebook, Instagram, that has all of my contact on it.
She's great on social media. Yeah.
Try. Please call me. Don't text me.
Okay, call me.
Yes.
Yes, I love it. We can use these to talk.
Yes.
I want to do that too. Scotty Mo.
Social media, Facebook, and always call, text, whatever. I get actually a surprising amount of activity through Facebook Messenger these days. So just if you're out there and you need something, just hit me up.
Cool.
Yeah, same thing here. If you Google Woody and appraiser, I'm the only guy who'll pop up. So I'm happy to help you any way we can.
Woody Fincham, Tovah Payne, Scott Morris, pros right here. Real Talk with Keith Smith. Keith Smith is in the Caribbean for his 40th wedding anniversary. He is not back next Friday. Next Friday is Ned Galloway, Albemarle County Board of Supervisors chairman, filling in for Keith Smith next Friday. Scott Morrison, Tovah Payne are loan officers. They are pros. If you need business done, a loan, help you get to the closing table, the finish line and beyond, it's Tovah and Scott. Woody Fincham is a Jedi. It's a Jedi Knight over here. You're talking an appraiser of very, very, very much talent, significant talent. You're doing a lot of work, a lot of different kind of work. Fincham & Associates is who you call. And thanks to Judah Wickower behind the camera, my name is Jerry Miller. The I Love CVille show is up at 12:30. So long. Nicely done, my friends. He's going to tell us when the mics are off and the cameras are off. And we got to get a picture.